Welcome back to another quick review. Ignore the thumbnail, it's not good, it's last minute. Anyways, today we are talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Um, the newest game for Nintendo Switch 2. Sorry, I had to get that out of the way. Um, Donkey Kong Bonanza is a very interesting game for me, where it's like, uh, for just a bit of extra context, I didn't really grow up playing Nintendo platformers or these kind of games, right? Or just 3D platforms in general. I played other Nintendo games growing up. That's on me, I guess. I didn't grow up playing these games, so for me, these games don't hit as hard as they would for like the other person. Um, and I think what kind of held this game back for me, and this is completely my fault, just getting this out of the way, um, was talk about the game going into it, like reviews and whatnot. But the amount of 10 out of 10s and masterpieces that I saw, uh, my expectations in that matter didn't do me any favors, and if anything, unfortunately, made both the positives and the negatives more apparent than they would have been had that not been the case, had that not gotten every 10 out of 10 in the book. But I do have things written down of what I want to talk about. Um, Overall, it's just like a big overall thing. Game's still great. The game is great. But I do have things that I uh, don't like, and I have things that I do like. First thing, music and atmosphere, very great. They're great. I love the colors. Movement is extremely fun. Same with bashing stuff, like hitting things. I'll get to that a bit later, expand on that a bit later, because it's also kind of a negative for me. But movement is still extremely fun. I love Donkey Kong. Love Pauline. Just a lot of fun. Donkey Kong's new model as well. It's just so expressive. I love it. I just found myself laughing at Donkey Kong's faces and everything. Pauline's great, and the villains are great as well. I love that every area is different in some way, shape, or form. It has a different gimmick. Despite the fact that, unfortunately, I probably won't remember them in like 2 weeks' time. Like I said, I think the areas are good and different, but I think they're good in the moment and then forgettable later. Like I do have at the moment I just beat the game. I have issues remembering some of the levels during it. Like I said, in the moment it's fun, but long term I'm probably not going to remember it. The different power ups and bonanzas are fun and provide a unique change to gameplay that I actually really enjoyed. Having to switch back and forth depending on the situation and the need was a lot of fun, and it just kind of definitely made gameplay much better. Um, Bosses are baby easy, right? Which I get the target demographic is a kids family game, but some of these bosses can be taken down in like a minute or so, which I think if the entire game were like that, sure. But then you get to like the last boss or like the last two, three bosses where they just like crank the difficulty up, and you're like, whoa, 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 1 second. Like I said, they're not hard to get. They're not hard to figure out what you need to do, but they're like significantly harder than the rest of the game, which I find interesting. But Nintendo do what Nintendo do. Looking for bananas can be either a very fun challenge, because it can be, or the worst thing you've ever gone through. There's no in between. Like the bananas that you would find underground, and whatnot. That's just not fun. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's just not fun looking for those. Um, but so some of the bananas, like I said, some of the bananas, like the challenges and different, what is it, shrine? Let's just call it shrines in Breath of the Wild. I forget what they're called, like ruins and whatnot. Those are all very fun challenges to engage in. But like I said, looking for bananas can sometimes just be not fun. Um, One of the things I was worried about going into this game was the gameplay loop, and I was kind of right in my worries of how I worried about it. Don't get me wrong, the game is great. It's phenomenal. It's mindless fun, right? It's one of those things where it's like it's just mindless fun. But after a certain amount of time, the gameplay loop becomes kind of stale. The problem is, like I said, as much as I love mindless fun, after 15 to 20 hours, I want something more than mindless fun. It's easy to get distracted in this game, which adds and takes away from the game as there's a lot to explore. But at some point, if you're just like bashing stuff, it becomes tedious. I had to stop going out of my way to look for bananas or secrets or secret things in the world just because I was not having fun. Going around punching things, looking for random stuff, just I wasn't having fun with it in that moment. And once I stopped doing that and just like not focus the main story, but did the main story and maybe some things in between, it became much more fun for me personally. Because like I said, you get to a point where, and I think the punching mechanic is great. Being able to punch through everything is great, but at some point, it becomes kind of tedious, and just after a while, I just found myself wanting to move on. And despite all my issues and everything that I've said, that I personally had my personal feelings throughout this entire thing, every time I stopped playing it at night, I kept wanting to go back and keep playing. It's a game that, well, like I said, while I had my issues, it still drew me in. It still kept me engaged, kept me wanting to play. I wanted to see how everything played out. It was just fun. It's a very fun video game. If you like 3D platformers or grew up playing Nintendo platformers, you'll love this game. However, like I said, if you're like me and you're indifferent towards 3D platformers and grew up playing other kinds of Nintendo games, you'll think the game is really, really good. The game, like I said, is really, really good, but it's not a masterpiece. I think the last thing I really want to say is just frame drops, frame rates, not bad for the most part. It's just, when there's a whole bunch of things going on the screen, there's like a whole bunch of things flying around, especially towards like the final boss and whatnot. Obviously, the frame's going to drop. It is a Nintendo Switch at the end of the day, but it's not, it's nothing that isn't manageable. So yeah, game is overall great. Deserves to be put in Game of the Year discussion. I don't personally believe it's a front runner. Personally, I at the moment, I guess I prefer, Doom, Split Fiction, Expedition 33, but the game is still phenomenal. And honestly, just go out and go out and play it. It's, despite my issues, I still think it's worth the money the money that it costs to play. But yeah, strong 9 out of 10 for me. Like I said, my issues were kind of my expectations and going out of my way to find stuff. And once I stopped doing that, the game became way more fun to me. But yeah, that's it for this quick review. 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed myself. Thank you for watching. See ya. This is an all out of place review just because I had so much to say. Bye.